to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Hey everybody, doing some shoulder dancing. This is Star Trek. Last time we also had Star Trek, it was Let That Be Your Last Battlefield. It was a black and white issue. Very clear cut. And there's some running in it. It was, sometimes I make a funny little recap of the previous episode that sort of describes what it was and sort of doesn't. This time it was about the stupidity of racism and how it led to that planet's entire destruction. And even having seen the destruction of their planet, they still couldn't let go their hatred towards each other. And they were very long-lived, Why was that guy chasing that other guy for thousands of years? Why? He really dedicated to his mission, right? They never went back to check on his family, friends. Never decided, it's been like 3 months and I'm not chasing him anymore. If he comes around this way again, we'll get him. I don't know. There's some story there that was left unwritten. There's another one of those don't ask too many questions about it episodes, now that I think about it. This is the Mark of Gideon. What does that mean? Who has the mark? What does the mark mean? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? And if you've ever been to a hotel and checked the drawers of that hotel, I don't know if this is true anymore, by the way, you'll find a Gideon Bible. That used to be the case. I don't know if it's the case anymore. At least in Ireland. Right, let's get into this one.
We are orbiting the planet Gideon, which is still...
planet.
Gideon has consistently refused the presence of a delegation from the Federation on its soil or any surveillance by the ship's sensor. They have finally agreed to a delegation of one.
Well, just Kirk.
I am, therefore, beaming down at once.
The first person ever on the planet.
According to the physiocultural reports, it's a virtual paradise.
Let's see. Doesn't look it from orbit.
875-020-079.
Okay. Let's see this paradise. He's back on the ship. Do you think, now before we even get into it, do you think he's back? He'd never transported. There was a transporter malfunction? Or do you think the location was built exactly the same? Somebody built this and they made him feel at home. It saves money on sets. Anyway, yeah, the second option. They made it look just like the Enterprise. You're on the planet, Kirk.
Mr. Spock, I have not yet transported down. Why did you leave your post before confirming transport?
These buttons don't work.
Spock?
Did the doors open, at least? Yep, okay, good. Oh, it still makes a noise of the bridge. Bridge sounds are accurate. What happened to the crew, Kirk? Somebody must have taken him.
Engineering. Scotty, all bridge personnel report immediately.
Sulu, get up here. You're fired.
Bones, answer me.
They replicated his brandy.
Oh.
Nice.
Still orbiting Gideon.
Apparently. I think you're on Gideon. Cut to the music? Look, there's nothing else to say. I think he beamed down to a replica of his ship.
Final frontier.
But we can talk about Gideon. They're not yet a member of the Federation. They don't never let anybody even scan their planet.
These are the voyages of
We scanned it with our eyes, though. We saw it wasn't a nice little green, blue orb. Wait, who gave the report that it was like a paradise? If nobody's been allowed to go down there or scan it? It looks barren. kind of a wasteland, swampy planet. Anyway, I'm sure somebody will be along shortly to talk to Kirk. Maybe a woman. Maybe a man called Gideon from the planet Gideon. Listening to the walls. Ship is making the same sounds as it should, isn't it? The bridge was.
I am alone on the Enterprise.
Oh!
I have searched every area of the ship and still cannot find a trace of the crew. The one thing that is obvious is that I suffered a memory lapse during which time I bruised my arm.
Oh!
It is causing me some irritation.
Gideon is contacting us, Mr. Spock.
There they are.
Captain Kirk, the Council is still awaiting your arrival.
Hey, we beamed him down.
Captain Kirk was transported down minutes ago.
He never arrived.
Please verify your coordinates.
Yeah, we were given specific coordinates.
875
I can't remember them.
020
Sounds about right.
079.
Coordinates confirmed.
That's the same.
If he is not here, that is your own responsibility.
I am not attempting to blame your personnel.
What did you do with him?
It is possible that Captain Kirk materialized on some other part of Gideon.
Right.
I request permission to beam down to conduct the search for our captain.
Yes.
Permission denied. Of course, we shall institute a thorough search. In the meantime, Mr. Spock, I suggest that you look to your machinery.
They're shady. They're shady, Spock. You can't trust them. What do you think,
We
McCoy?
must acknowledge that the purpose of diplomacy is to prolong a crisis.
Well, what are we waiting for, Mr. Spock? We're not diplomats.
We are representatives of the Federation, Doctor. The planet is shielded from our sensors, therefore we cannot scan it. Therefore, we are unable to select coordinates.
What about the same ones?
Contact Starfleet immediately. Request permission to use every means at our disposal to press the search for Captain Kirk.
Are there any other possibilities?
What do you mean? That we could do? Or what could have happened to him? Well, one, they seem all shady, right? If they're not shady, then, well, look, they verified the coordinates. We beamed them to the coordinates. They had a whole ship made. The only thing that confuses me is Kirk's memory. When did he lose his memory and bruise his... When did that happen? Because we saw him beam into the replica of the ship. There was no in-between time. Unless he beamed somewhere else, hurt himself, and then they beamed him to this replica of the ship. Which is odd. I hope that's explained. Anyway, Chekhov, what was your question? Damn it, Chekhov. I was going to talk about McCoy. It's another situation, Chekhov, you see, where Spock is in command and McCoy is on the bridge for some reason. He's just wondering where Kirk is. And I'm curious to see McCoy and Spock's dynamic in this one. To see what suggestions the Doctor might have. I'm all for a little bit of a sneaky mission down to their planet. We can use the same coordinates. Beam in with guns. Rodriguez was sitting there with his arms folded for the entire first scene there. Get him, beam him down. We don't have Leslie anymore. So yeah, I don't know what to say to you, Chekhov. Lots of possibilities. We could fire phasers at them. Zulu. Get him.
They are endless, Mr. Chekhov.
Yeah, exactly.
Where do we start, Mr. Spock?
Institute a sensor scan, 360 degrees, 1 degree at a time.
Even space?
And you're going to scan space for him?
But sir, that could take years.
Then the sooner you begin, the better.
I'd start on the planet, though. I wouldn't start, like, directly behind us. Someone has to come from eventually. Here we go. A woman. Why does she have to be crazy? Why can't she be normal? Hello.
Who are you?
Adana.
Who, Donna?
My name is Adana.
Donna.
What are you doing on my ship?
Is this entire ship yours?
Well,
Not my personal property.
it's ours now. Where
You're hurting me.
where did you come from?
Captain.
James Kirk. And I didn't bring you here.
If you didn't bring me here.
That's right. Who has brought you here?
I don't know.
What do you remember? Where do you come from?
What happened before you came here?
I was standing in a large auditorium,
What?
crowded with people, pressed in against me. I could hardly breathe. I was fighting for oxygen,
What?
screaming to get out. And then Suddenly I was here on your ship. And there was all this space.
Where are you
And
from?
the freedom. I just wanted to float.
How long have you been aboard the Enterprise?
I don't know. Not long.
Minutes, hours,
Is it
days?
important?
It might be.
Has Starfleet honored our request with a reply?
They insist the matter must be referred to the Federation.
Contact them directly.
I did, Mr. Spock. They insist that we must go through Starfleet channels.
That's the best they could come up with?
Diplomats and bureaucrats may function differently, but they achieve exactly the same results.
Absolutely nothing, Zulu. Why are we looking at the stardate?
9 minutes of my life has been lost.
How do you know that, Kirk? Have you been keeping track of exactly how long you've been here? This is odd. I'd want to know all about this woman, by the way. I want to know what planet she's from. If she says Gideon, great. Tell us about your planet. What's going on? Are you shady? What do you mean you were in an auditorium gasping for air? What's that about? That sounds horrific. Why do you wear a bra on the outside of your dress? You know, these are the questions we need to ask. I'm just going to look at the transcript for the Paradise line. According to the physio-cultural reports submitted to the Federation, it's a virtual paradise. I don't know who gave that report.
I don't understand.
Me either.
What is Gideon?
She doesn't know what Gideon is.
The planet that you come from.
He assumes she's from Gideon.
Well, it must be.
I do not think so.
Give us anything, literally anything, lady. Oh, where are we now?
We're no longer over Gideon. Some force, some intelligence has arranged this for a purpose.
We could be an Adam and Eve.
Before I said I wasn't afraid. Now I am.
Because of the implication, Kirk. Because of the implication.
The ambassador will speak, sir. They're requesting visual communication.
Great.
Good news. Very good news indeed, Mr. Spock.
Did you find him?
Your captain is definitely not on Gideon.
Oh.
And you will be relieved to know that you may now investigate all the other possibilities and forget about Gideon.
Your record on the subject is not precise, Your Excellency.
I think I know that guy too. He looks familiar.
You do not intend, I hope, to create a dispute, Gideon?
We don't trust you.
I merely suggest that the language of our statement may not have been understood.
Yeah.
Mr. Spock, you are an office spaceship. You use many instruments, tools, and weapons to achieve your objective.
We've got weapons.
However, the only tool diplomacy has is language. The meaning is crystal clear.
Clarity of formulation is essential in my profession also.
Perhaps you could then make greater effort to choose your words more precisely.
How about this? We'll destroy your planet in the next 10 seconds unless you give us back our captain. Is that clear enough for you, dude? Too much? Too much? Oh. I'm not in a diplomatic mood today. I'm just not. I'm all for wiping these people out. Freaking shape people. You got shape, you got hexagons. You're wearing hexagons. You got freaking parallelograms behind you, and you got this weird shape that I can't quite put a name to. Oh. I'm calm. I'm fine. Maybe it's the Doctor's lack of. The Doc and Spock are not fighting, so I gotta fight. Let's talk more. Or get down there. Just beam us all down there. We'll beam the entire ship onto their fake ship, and then we'll. The woman that's with Kirk, I know what her purpose is. Her purpose is to be mysterious and not to add mystery to the episode and not tell us any information. But it's kind of frustrating. You know?
You're gonna let him get away with that?
No matter what you say, Mr.
No, hey,
Spock, he'll twist your meaning.
Hey,
Yes,
Scotty.
he's infuriating, sir. How can you stand it?
He is.
Mr. Spock, there was considerable interference with your transmission. A lot of noise drowned out what was said.
I apologize for the noise. I request permission to transport down to Gideon.
Yeah.
You propose propose to repeat this disaster with another officer, this would be madness.
Yeah.
I'll not take that, Mr. Spock. That transporter was in perfect condition. Transport me down right this minute and I'll prove to those...
Mr. Scott, you'll go to the transporter room and await my orders.
Aye, Mr. Spock.
I could not quite make that out, Mr. Spock. Would you be so good as to repeat?
He said he's going to come down and give you frickin'...
We would appreciate an opportunity to test the equipment. I therefore request permission to beam down to your council chamber.
Can we beam down a chicken?
Grant this one request.
Here's the simplest thing in the world that he can't deny, right? Maybe they don't want multiple people. That doesn't matter. Let's prove to us, to you, that those coordinates are accurate. We'll beam a little box, a pillbox, right into where we can see on the camera. See? To prove that these coordinates are accurate. That the coordinates you gave us are these coordinates. We can see it visually with the pillbox. How about that? You don't want to beam down a person? We'll beam a person into a pillbox, I'll tell you that. Infuriating as right to horror. God, he was muttering to himself on his way to the turbo lift. This guy. Oh.
Are a very persistent fellow.
Yeah, you better believe it. You better believe it.
You shall test the skill of your very excitable repairman.
I'm excitable too.
You will therefore transport a member of my staff to your ship. Let us first see if that works.
Okay.
Your proposal is accepted.
My assistant will provide you with the proper... What is the word?
Coordinates?
Coordinates.
Proceed, Crowder.
You didn't know that word? I know this guy.
875-020-709.
No problems.
Your assistant has arrived safely, and I am now ready to transport down to Gideon.
No, not so fast, sir. We agreed to allow one representative on our soil, your captain. However, your request will be taken up.
You said that Kirk was absolutely 100% not on Gideon. Therefore, you agreed to one representative to come down to your planet. One representative never got to your planet by your own words. Therefore, we're going to send one. In his stead, you lying son of a bitch. I'll try. I'll get it out of my system eventually. Whenever this guy disappears, he's riling me all the way up.
The next full session of Gideon's
I was
council.
pressing the button. Why did the cameraman go to that?
Mr. Scott, beam down the gentleman from Gideon.
Keep him hostage. Were the numbers identical, by the way?
Enterprise to Starfleet Command.
Captain Kirk here. Red priority. Red priority.
Don't give away any passwords.
Well, if someone is listening, they're not answering.
Is the computer working? Working. You'll know that voice.
I've trimmed down to sublight speed until we find out where we are.
Feels the same.
It does feel the same.
Maybe it is the same.
Can you check the view screen?
Well, has the ship slowed down?
If you can believe that.
Don't tell me the sky is out of order now.
The world is hollow, girl.
So quiet. And it's beautiful.
Sure.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Very, very beautiful.
here we go. Here we go.
And we're alone.
Yeah.
Can you make it last a long, long time?
How long would you like it to last?
Forever?
Forever.
Well, let's see. We have enough to feed a crew of 430 for 5 years. So that should last us...
Forever.
As long as we need to, yeah.
All my life I've dreamed of being alone.
Pointless pause, a bit. We have 5 years of food for 430 people? For the 5-year mission? Really? They didn't think we'd... Just in case? That seems like over-preparedness to me. Because we take plenty of trips back and forth to Earth and to... Well, look, we've never been to Earth in present times, but we've been to Earth in the past. That counts. We've been to plenty of planets. Kirk's eaten a lot of fruit. You know, when they proclaim him a god. You know? We've been all over the place. What I'm saying is we don't need 5 years of food. But, you know, I guess if we've got the space for it and it's not going to go off, may as well be prepared. She's odd. I think she is from Gideon. She's from Gideon, and she keeps talking about how this is great, and she just doesn't want to go back to that the hellscape auditorium where she was struggling to breathe. I want to know about that. Oh, I'm very curious what her deal is and what she's not saying.
Why are the people of Gideon like that?
Gideon, I told you I don't know where I come from.
You don't know
what my planet is.
You don't know?
I've got to contact whoever is manipulating us. There must be a way.
They're probably watching us right now.
O'Donnell, can you
O'Donnell.
remember why your people dream of being alone?
Because they never can be.
Why?
What are you talking about?
Because there are so many of us. So many.
Overpopulation.
No beach, no mountain that is not filled with people. Each one of us would kill in order to find a place alone to himself.
Okay.
He would willingly die for it.
That answers that. But why is Kirk here?
Who sent you here?
No one commands O'Donnell.
You volunteered to get out of the auditorium.
I only know I'm here. I only know I'm happy.
Oh, what the hell is all this about? I said they might be being watched, but I didn't think that would happen. Yeah, I wouldn't look at the screens. It's real creepy.
All I have to do is find a medical kit.
What happened to his arm?
What will happen if you do not find one?
It'll heal over
You
time.
become sick and die.
No, it'll cure itself eventually, but I don't even remember how this happened.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by the memory loss.
Do you hear that? The ship's engines don't make that kind of sound.
Was that what he was listening to earlier?
I know every sound that this ship might make. That's coming from outside.
Outside the ship.
A storm might.
A storm might, but you wouldn't be able to hear it.
We can't hear anything in space except phasers and photon torpedoes.
This is a viewing port. We'll be able to see outside if there's a storm.
Careful, there might be heads. There might be heads. Oh, there's heads. Hello. They weren't prepared.
The faces of people. What's happening? What's out there?
Don't think we're in Kansas anymore.
It was like the heartbeat of all those people, and thousands upon thousands more pressing against the ship.
Oh, they're surrounding the whole place. The only empty spot on the planet.
Please don't frighten me.
Is she acting dumb or is she dumb?
I think I have an idea. So that we won't keep trying to find out where we are. That we'll be content to stay here.
Be content.
Nope, that's what she wants.
Content? Be content? Not until I find out what happened to my crew. Are they dead? Did you kill them so you could have the ship to yourself?
Something's happening to me.
Enjoying the TV show?
This is the way one looks when one is developing a sickness.
There's no sickness on your planet, remember?
Oh, isn't there?
Now there will be.
Oh, maybe that's why there's so much overpopulation. There's no sickness, nobody grows older, and they just kept reproducing. They don't need food either, right? Because that was my big question. How did these people not just die of starvation if there's so many of them? So they magically consume energy from their surroundings, from their sun's rays, right? And they grow up and they stay at a certain age and they don't have to do anything to survive because they don't need food. So they all just stand around everywhere on their planet and chill, you know? They still need air, because what she said earlier. And if only they would stop mating with each other. They have the opposite problem to the wink of an eye people, don't they? We should team them up, these people and those people. balance it out a bit. They're also the opposite of the Kelvins. The Kelvins hated the open spaces. They crave the... Remember, I thought that was a weird thing to add to the plot because they never actually... It never went anywhere afterwards in the story. That they crave the tight places, the confined places, because they grew up on an intergenerational ship. And they weren't used to being out on a planet. So they're kind of the opposite, even though they have similar situations. Anyway, yeah, combine those two. I'm always trying to get people to move to the Calvin planet. Am I not? Anyway, she's confusing to me. Did she volunteer for this mission? Why is Kirk here? To make her sick? So that people can die on their planet to solve their overpopulation problem? Hey, we can just beam down some grenades, you know? We can blow you the hell up. Kill half your planet. You know? There's other ways to do it. Rather than a slow illness. Hey, we could do Taste of Armageddon you. You know? We could get the pods. They're painless. Yeah, we can have some sort of stupid war. That'll sort you right out. Right, the episode is making a bit more sense to me now that I've talked it out. She's still bugging me, but...
There will be sickness.
Mission complete.
There will be death.
Mission complete. Get her out there. Infect other people. Oh. Coming through. Going to the mountain.
Our experiment has passed the first stage.
Great.
Let me in there. I can help her.
We don't want to help her.
We have no need of any of your medicines. You have done well, my daughter.
Oh, it's his daughter.
Guard the captain well. We shall need him for a long time.
Oh, they're just keeping him? So that they have a source of illness?
I sympathize deeply, but Starfleet cannot override Federation directives in this matter.
Get out of here, Boomerang.
Has your crew suddenly become interested in provoking a war?
Oh, I am.
We wish only to save the life of the captain. You have evidence the captain's life is threatened?
Yes.
Permission denied. I wish to state for the record that your decision is completely arbitrary. So noted.
Get out of here, you arbitrary guy. Now, let's go down there anyway.
Do you feel great pain?
Yes.
What is it like to feel pain?
It's wonderful.
It is like when you see the people have no hope for happiness, Father.
Your courage gives me great pride.
I'm impressed that he sacrificed, that he volunteered to sacrifice his own, and not just one of the people out there.
You don't know what she may have.
But we do. She has vagal choriomeningitis.
Is that something you...
It's very rare and always fatal if not treated. As I know, it almost killed me.
Did they take his
Why we brought you.
blood?
Your blood provided the microorganisms which infected her.
That's how my arm got hurt.
I don't see how they expect us to sit here and wait for the captain to reappear.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I must violate a direct order from Starfleet.
Great.
Best possible decision you can make, Spock. I'm with you.
I'm with him too.
Lieutenant Uhura, repeat original Gideon coordinates for beam down.
We're all on the same page.
875.
Yeah, were the coordinates different from the original coordinates and the mustache man? That's what I wanted to know. I would have paused it to check it, but we're going to check it right here.
020 079.
020 709.
Oh, different.
I shall beam down at once. Mr. Scott, you have the con.
Go get him, Spock.
Isn't that just about what Captain Kirk said before he left?
He's prepared though.
Spock here, Captain Kirk.
Sneaky, Spock. But don't make noise with your tricorder. Just be very, very quiet. You've got the element of surprise. Does this damn thing have to make so much noise?
Your report to the Federation was a tissue of lies.
Paradise!
Gideon a paradise.
Yeah.
And so it was. Death became almost unknown to us.
Yeah, that's the big problem. Why did you keep having children?
The birth rate continued to rise.
Why?
And the population grew.
Then let your people learn about the devices to safely prevent conception.
But you see, the people of Gideon have always believed that life is sacred. That is the one unshakable truth of Gideon.
That's why you're in this mess.
We are incapable of destroying or interfering with the creation of that which we love so deeply.
Well, what about what you're doing right now? What about this plan you've got?
You're killing your own daughter. How can you do that?
My daughter hoped to make you feel the agony of Gideon. It was impossible. No stranger could realize the horror that life can be here.
I can understand it.
The virus you need is very rare. Who will provide it?
You! We're gonna keep you.
You will stay?
I do not offer my life for this purpose. I have many plans.
I can give you some blood, though.
My daughter pleaded with you to stay.
What happened between us was for us alone.
We were watching on the
She
TV.
hoped you would love her and wish to stay.
So that was your plan.
In a couple of hours, really? Oh, they've detected Spock.
She's calling the name of James Kirk.
Well, she wants to see him.
You see, you cannot leave us now.
Hey Spock, a ship all to yourself. You can finally be captain. There's no McCoy here to bug you. McCoy's been great in this episode. Him, Spock, the whole crew, we've pretty much been on the same page. It's been smooth sailing.
Exact duplicate.
Yeah, they went to a lot of effort for this subterfuge. How do they know all this stuff about the ship?
Completely inoperative.
We figured it out pretty quickly. Kirk was here for hours without figuring that out, Spock.
Spock to Enterprise.
Scott here, Mr. Spock.
I am speaking to you from the bridge of the Enterprise.
Yeah.
You're where?
Bridge of the Enterprise.
He's haunting you, Scotty.
An exact duplicate.
Exact duplicate of the Enterprise.
They even have your brandy.
But what about the captain?
I'm picking up life readings. Spock out.
Well, why did you come to the bridge then?
If you don't allow me to bring Dr. McCoy down here, it'll soon be too late to do anything for her.
Do you think we're going to save her?
Her death is unnecessary. Even if...
Yeah, why are we... Is it just to prove that it can be done? Just to prove that we can kill somebody? Is that why we're allowing it to run its course? Maybe. I thought they'd want to push her out there and infect as many people. Get the blood out of her, you know? Give it to more people. Get them all in. Get them lining out the corridor. You get an injection. You get an injection. Die. Ooh, not me. I'm wandering somewhere. They're all wandering somewhere. I'm needed in the Valley District. What you going there for? Just wanted to wander around a bit down there. It's nice. Better folk down in the valley. They don't jostle you as much. Okay, I'm going up to the mountain. You get a good view of all the horde of people. I like the view. Lot more jostling, but you get a good view.
If she lives, her blood will provide the same serum you'll need as mine would.
Yeah.
Her death at so young an age will let the people know for certain that our life cycle can be changed.
Right, it's just a proof point.
It is the symbol that will bring forth the dedicated young volunteers.
I'm not afraid of what will happen. It is just that now, I wish with all my heart to stay with you forever.
He has that effect on people. I guess he's the first person she ever met that wasn't trying to bump her out of the way. Oh! Double. Double, Spock. You had the chance for a double. You didn't really get him, though. You just kind of threw him.
Captain, you're looking well.
Mr. Spock, we have a patient for Dr. McCoy.
Please do not interfere. I already have one serious problem to resolve with upper echelons.
We're gonna save her. We can sacrifice another person on your planet. No problem.
Well, it was close, but you made it.
I am cured.
Why is she happy about it? He's not staying with you.
You are no longer needed on Gideon. I can take your place there.
Right, she's got it in her blood.
I am needed there now.
You're needed everywhere, O'Donnell.
He just can't help himself.
It is not like our ship.
This one is crowded.
Seems crowded to you?
It does not.
As crowded as my planet is.
Oh, it'll feel empty
I could
without
wish for
you.
it to hold one more person.
Yeah. They really hit it off, these two. Somehow.
I will miss you, Captain James Kirk.
The end. Oh, this is interesting. One, I don't know the main guy. The main guy I do not know from anything else, but Moustache Man was in a previous episode of Star Trek. He was in Mud's Women. He was one of those dilithium miners. One of those future billionaires. I think the main guy, actually. Moustacheless. So it's interesting that I would recognize him. But I still think maybe I just recognized the moustache from something else, and it's just a coincidence that he happened to be in another episode. Maybe a bit of both. What did I like about this? What did I like about this episode? I like the idea that the planet is overpopulated. When I was first introduced to the idea in this episode, when I first heard about it and I saw them all shuffling about, my brain was instantly... There was going to be a whole section of the outro dedicated to how that makes no sense and how the hell do they, this and this and this. But I think, more or less, I can go along with it. More or less, it's still a bit, it's stupid, It's a cool idea, and it's an interesting, spooky visual, especially the heads when they're all watching from outside. The heads on the bridge were just kind of for effect, for the audience to be really spooked and really freaked out. The shuffling that we see pretty much for the entire rest of the episode is a bit more realistic. But yeah, I was going to go hard on that because, how come they don't die? Don't they need food? I'm going to assume they don't need food, because they're not going to get much of it. On this planet, they've just evolved so much that they can't get illness. They can now, but they can't die. They're just fine, and most importantly, they value life above all else, so they won't stop having children. They'll never stop. If there's a break in the crowd for one instant, during all the shuffling, ooh, wow, we suddenly got a small little break. Two of them are getting it on instantly. Now's our chance to make more people. It's the gift, the only gift we can give somebody else to experience this paradise. There's probably this episode, its philosophy, that things that people think mirrors a lot of stuff that people believe in our world too. So there's a bit of a mirroring going on too. But we've just taken this episode is that to the extreme. The sanctity of life over the well-being of the people. In this case, we create a horrible hellscape by taking that idea to its logical limits. But it's horrific to hear about it, The worst thing, we didn't even see the worst thing, is when she was describing where she came from. An auditorium where she was struggling to breathe. I believe she said something like that. I was fighting for oxygen, screaming to get out. That's just terrifying. No wonder she loved the time she was spending on the ship with Kirk. Do you think these high and mighty officials get to stay in this little virtually empty space when they're making all their decisions? They just made it look like the ship to prepare for the Federation's visit. Must have taken them a while to build that. What with all the people, crowding around the construction site? Yeah. Where are they all going? I just like my little theories, that some of them like different parts of the planet, and there's nothing else to do. You're not just going to stand still, you may as well go somewhere. But it was just funny to see them all constantly, always in motion. As if they had really important business to attend to. And at least they weren't wearing stupid hats. I think we can all be grateful for that. That main guy was so irritating. I must have paused it 4 times. I was so angry. I was like, we're going to go down there and we're going to kill your planet. Which is, would have done the world a good. Destroying half their planet. Freed up a bit of space. It's odd that they won't accept the other solutions to their... They're choosing this weird illness that now his daughter is going to be... She's taking the place of Kirk. We're going to use her blood to infect other people, and then we're going to use their blood to infect more and more and more, and then eventually death will become common and will eventually balance the scales. We'll get rid of... We'll shrink the population down to 1/1,000,000th of the size, and we'll be back to an Eden. Again, the trees will grow again. Because there's no plant life or animal life on that planet. Because that's an extra few feet of space we can free up. They chopped all that stuff down years ago. Shouldn't they have built look, this... I'm not gonna talk about that. We could build devils. We could build heirs. No matter how many people there are, we can make space for them. Unless they're literally up in the atmosphere, almost in space. There's room. There's underground tunnel. We can get the from Demons in the Dark. We can get those rock... I was going to call them monsters. Don't call them monsters. To dig out tunnels. They love doing that. We get a few of them. Dig out lots of space underground. We use the minerals they dig to build layers on top as well. I tell you, we can make lots of space on that planet if we put our minds to it. And we can start killing people off too. With the illness. But don't ask them to use contraception. Don't you dare. How dare you, Kirk? How frickin' dare you? Sterilize? What do you think our planet... What do you think you're bringing your immoral attitudes and solutions to our planet? I love their plan. The plan is to take... Look, the Enterprise isn't the flagship yet of the Federation, but it's a pretty important one. The plan is to... When the Federation, which is a huge influence over this area of the galaxy, when they send a ship, we're going to take their captain and we're going to hold him hostage because he's got this rare, super rare illness that's really useful to us. They banked so much on this plan that they built an entire replica of the ship somehow. They must have spies in Starfleet. Getting the blueprints and the... finding out what colour all the buttons are. Kirk never figured out that it didn't work. Spock figured it out straight away. He's like, it's the same as our ship, except nothing works. Kirk's like, I'm just gonna slow down the ship. Look, he's a command guy. He gets Scotty and Spock and Sulu and Chekhov to do all the dirty work. Remember in This Side of Paradise? The episode with all the spores? When Kirk was on his own up in orbit? He didn't know. He couldn't take the ship. He couldn't go... As far as I remember, he was helpless without his crew. Because he didn't know how any of it worked. That's not his job. The most unrealistic part of the episode? It isn't. But go with me on this. Is that... is the love story. Because she was irritating and not really... You know what I mean by that. She was vague and unhelpful and a little bit weird. There was no natural chemistry there, apart from the fact that she looked pretty. And her mission was to make Kirk... I don't know, it was kind of conflicting. Not that he would fall in love with her, that she would make him understand the plight of their planet or something. But she fell in love with him. For sure. Spock, let's get back up to the ship, shall we? Spock and McCoy and Scotty and Uhura and everybody on the bridge. No Sulu. I don't think Sulu was on the bridge. But we were all on board. We were going to disregard our orders and get down there. No infighting. Very, very little infighting. McCoy wanted to go down to the planet. Spock stopped him. Now, he didn't need to. McCoy could have beamed down too and treated her right there. Because her father wasn't gonna... He couldn't intervene because he didn't have the manpower. It was just him on his own. He didn't put up too much of a fight. When Spock arrived, he was like, I kind of love my daughter. I kind of don't want to see her die, so... We can work it. We can work it. The people don't need a murder. They don't need an example of somebody dying. We'll just say it works. We'll get a few volunteers. Either way. And then one of them can die. I like that the coordinates were very similar. Just a couple of digits were switched. You know, but we're beaming the guy up and down. Compared to what we gave for Kirk to go down and up. But how they thought we wouldn't spot that, they'll never know. You know, 079, 709, they'll never spot that. Rodriguez had big bridge presence, I'll call it, in this episode, but he didn't do anything. And the ship itself was a character. Overall, I think it's a spooky... The spookiness of the heads makes no real sense, but it's kind of fun. The situation on the planet that's so overcrowded and they can't die, that's a cool little idea. But I would say to anyone thinking about the episode, don't think about it too much. It's the general rule of a lot of Star Trek. Take the cool idea, don't overanalyze it too much, and you'll have a better time with it. Something that I have struggled with a lot. I like things that you can think about, and that upon thinking about them makes it even better. Sometimes that happens. You know? Like in the last episode where I overthought it to the point where I was like, you know what, it is good that they didn't take sides. It lets the viewer make up their minds. Why make any moral judgments at all in any TV show? I went a bit too much in my thinking to make the episode better. I still don't know what I think about that last one. The way it was... The story, the overall story. Some of the dialogue, the bureaucracy dialogue about when Spock is talking to that guy, it was just a bit irritating. When they're talking about language and it was just riling me up. I love this. I love the line about scanning 360 degrees and Sulu going, that'll take years. Since when? Since when does that take years, Sulu? Remember when we lost the captain on Triskelion? We pretty much scanned the whole place. And he wasn't down there? It wasn't the Triskelion planet, but it was the planet we were on before Kirk got beamed to another system. But Spock's like, hey, we got a signal from this other system. You know, there's an energy pulse or something, and we gotta follow it. We've already scanned this one. He's not there. What do you mean it takes years, Sulu? Years? Where do you scan him? What are you doing? Wait, Sulu was in this episode. Here was me thinking Sulu wasn't in it. Literally talking about him. Yeah, everybody was in this one. Everybody except Hadley and Leslie. But we won't see Leslie again. But he's always here. He's right here. In my upper... just above my heart. You know, near the shoulder area? What are you doing there, Leslie? Get out of there. Yeah, I think I'm out. I think I'm out of things to say about this one. I was editing Plato's Stepchildren, and something I want to talk about that I didn't talk about then, just a little bit, is the scene after the worst scene in the episode. The worst scene in the episode is when is Kirk pretending to be a horse and all of that stuff. It goes on for too long, and it's just kind of embarrassing and boring. A little bit boring. But the scene directly after that, Spock is dealing with emotion. And that scene is very strong. There's like three, when I was editing, I was like, this 3 or 4 minutes. That whole scene is just great. In its acting, its portrayal, the way they interact with each other, how they're dealing with the emotions of that scene. It's almost worth the stupidity of the scene before. And I don't think I really talked about it at the time, but I did like that. I liked what was his name? Started with an A. Alexander. I liked Alexander in that scene, and I liked Spock in that scene particularly. But the others did some good stuff as well. Some nice touches there. It's by far the strongest part of the episode. Sometimes the worst part of an episode can cloud your mind and can put you into a certain state of mind. Like, that 7 minutes of just tap dancing and horseplay and all of that stuff can put you in a state of mind where you're still in that state of mind in the next scene. So even if the next scene is great, you're in a bad mood about the episode. So anyway, that's just something. I was editing it yesterday, so I was like, yeah, okay, cool. But I think there's a lot to say about all of the episodes that I haven't said. Now that I'm almost finished the entire series, I will have a lot more to say about everything, really, that I didn't say the first time around. A lot more to appreciate and a lot more to make fun of, and the whole spectrum of possibilities. Right. Let's check the title of next week's episode. That Which Survives. Well, in this case, in this episode, everybody. The whole lot of them. And that's the problem. You'd think they would have tried to solve their problem before it came to this point right here, where every inch of their planet had a person. And they were struggling to breathe in certain places. What was she doing in it? I don't think she was making that up. What was she doing indoors? Struggling to breathe. Get outside, at least. You you gotta. How do they... I presume they lie down to sleep. I don't know how they do that. Maybe in shifts. There's got to be a way to do it. Anyway, I came up with solutions for making more space for them, but the last thing they need is more space, because they'll just fill it with more people. But look, we solved their problem. We gave them an illness, which is going to slowly hurt them and kill them gradually. There are easier and better ways to do it, but fair enough. So come back for That Which Survives next time. Have a great day. Enjoy your space. I like my space. And, hey, the whole show is about space when you think about it. Yeah, I'll see you next time.